Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series, and today's quest is The Long Dark, which is the fourth adventure pack in the Duero Delph cycle. A quick reminder that in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck Dark Friends, and if you've ever read the series of books The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, you're familiar with that term. And speaking of long, if you're interested in reading long books, that is the series for you. Really, really lengthy series of books, which I would say in the end is worth it, especially if you enjoy reading detailed descriptions of things like tapestries, I guess. I don't know. There's just a lot of detail in those books. So in this quest, we're going to be drawing quite a few cards, and so we're using Beravor and Bilbo. We need to draw cards to be able to pass locate tests. We'll see those, once we get to them. We've used Beravor and Bilbo before, previously with Aragorn in the Hunt for Gollum, and then I think we used them with Denethor in the Dead Marshes. But again, we're just using them for the card draw, and just having two lore characters allows us to pay for the lore cards. And then we need Éowyn to help us get some willpower up and running initially, because we want to keep from questing unsuccessfully. This one is pretty easy. Actually, I'd say it's really, really easy. It's easier, I think, than Watch of the Water. And I usually win it in 6 to 8 rounds. Sometimes if a certain combination of things happen, maybe kind of more combat focused, I might take a few more rounds than that. But usually 6 to 8. Let's get to the quest and see how we do. Because we have Bilbo, the first player draws one additional card in the resource phase. Let's go to the options and change cards per round to 2. And now in my opening hand, I like that I have Song of Kings, but I want to be able to play a chump in round 1. I'm going to mulligan, hopefully for Hinnomarth River Song, and there he is. Okay, good opening hand. Let's look at Journey in the Black Pit. Your party is scouting the mines of Moria, searching for signs of orcs. Dark tunnels and twisting passages spread out in all directions, a labyrinthine maze that you could wander in forever if you take the wrong path. For setup, the first player attaches Cave Torch to a hero of his choice. And so we'll choose Beravor. We're familiar with Cave Torch. It is restricted, and many times I don't ever use this in the course of a game. Okay, so 1B says, when revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard X locations. X is one less than the number of players in the game, but a minimum of 1. We'll add that location to the staging area, and we'll shuffle the discarded cards back into the encounter deck. We'll use this feature here, discard until location, and here we go. It's the Mountain's Roots, and so all these cards are shuffled back. There were just 2 of them, back into the encounter deck. Now it's a really big deck of 60 cards, and the reason why is that when we take the locate tests, let's just look at treacheries, I guess. When we do these locate tests, we're going to be looking for these cards that have the word pass on them, see at the bottom right. And so those are the cards that are from this particular quest, from this AP, and so they're trying to dilute the deck so that they're less likely to come up, and it's harder to pass the locate test. The last bit of text on Journey in the Black Pit says that each location gets a threat boost, and if the player's quest unsuccessfully, will trigger any lost effects in play. Some of the cards in this quest have the word lost on them and a corresponding effect, and it can be triggered by different things like failing locate tests, but in this case by simply questing unsuccessfully. All right, so Mountain's Roots has a threat value of X, which is based on the number of players in the game, so 1, and then additionally it's boosted by Journey in the Black Pit. So now let's move on to the resource phase. We'll draw 2 cards because of Bilbo. And now during the planning phase, let's exhaust Beravor to draw 2 cards. Okay, there's Song of Kings. We just need Steward of Gondor to go with it. Hopefully next round we can do that. Let's go ahead and play Hinnomarth. And he's the best round 1 play because it costs 1. That means that Bilbo hangs onto a resource, and then hopefully next round we can use Beravor's resource to put Song of Kings on Bilbo and Steward of Gondor. That's the hope. And if something comes out that we have to fight, Hinnomarth can chump. We have 3 of these in the deck. So we also want to save up for Arwen for next round, so we're just going to quest with Éowyn and with Bilbo. And we reveal Burning Low. When revealed, each enemy and location currently in the staging area gets +1 threat until the end of the phase, +3 if it is a dark location. If we wanted to, we could cancel this with a Test of Will or by exhausting Cave Torch. But if we exhaust Cave Torch, then we have to discard a card. If it's an enemy, it's added to the staging area. So I'll just deal with the threat boost of 1 because this is not a dark location. We made 2 progress. No big deal at all. So we were successful, no lost effects would trigger, and there weren't any in play. We'll travel to the mountain's roots and exhaust Hinnemarth to reveal what's coming next. It's Dwarven Forge. Really, we just don't want to see enemies up initially, if that's the preferred kind of opening. Let's exhaust Bearvor. We're hoping to draw Steward of Gondor 2 cards. There it is. Perfect. All right, we'll spend her resource to put Song of Kings onto Bilbo. We'll spend his 2 resources to attach Steward of Gondor, exhaust it to give him 2 resources right back. We will play Arwen Undomio. Anytime she exhausts, especially, we'll exhaust to quest with her, but there's this response. After Arwen Undomio exhausts, choose a character. That character gains Sentinel and +1 defense until the end of the round. We're always going to put that defensive boost on Bilbo. Okay, so we have 2 resources that we can use with Bilbo's pool here, but I think I'm going to hang on to them. I don't really need to play Erebor Hammersmith or Warden of Healing. I'm just going to hang on to them. Actually, what I will do is sneak attack Gandalf in at the beginning of questing. Before committing characters in that action window, let's sneak attack Gandalf into play and draw 3 cards. Because really drawing cards is the most important function of our deck in this quest in particular. We're going to quest with everybody except for Hinnemarth. And so we're making a good bit of progress. We reveal Dwarven Forge, and it's boosted by Journey in the Black Pit. We make 1 progress on the mountain's roots and 7 on the current quest. We're already at 9. And so we have not quested unsuccessfully yet. Let's travel to Dwarven Forge. No travel effect. Gandalf did come back to our hand. We'll exhaust Hinnemarth to use his action. Next round, we'll be taking our first locate test. Refresh. Next round. Oh, wow. We might win this in 5 rounds. I've never done that before that I know of. Let's draw 2 cards with Bearvor. Things are going extremely well. So we want to save up for this West Road Traveler. I guess it's time to maybe just put some willpower into play. But we're not going to need to. We're going to quest past Journey in the Black Pit this round easily. So we'll wait to spend our resources because there might be something we'd rather have. Okay, we're going to just, at the beginning of questing, just sneak attack Gandalf into play and draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And we'll quest with Gandalf and Arwen, Bilbo, and Éowyn. And I think we'll pass this. Revealing Vast and Intricate. When revealed, the first player makes a locate test. If this test is failed, we'll raise each player's threat by 7, removing all progress tokens from play and trigger all lost effects in play. This is a lost effect. So if we failed this test, and or if we quested unsuccessfully, I guess you would do it multiple times, but lost, each player must choose and discard 1 card from his hand. As you can see, we don't really care about cards in hand, but still, we're going to take a locate test. I was trying to say the right word, locate test. So all we have to do is just discard a card from our hand that we don't want, and then we discard a card from the encounter deck, and we're looking for the word pass. See how this one says pass? If this says pass, we've passed the test. It doesn't. Doesn't mean we fail. We just get to continue to discard. Let's discard another card. This one does not say pass. We'll continue to do that. We're going to discard this Hinnemarth, discarding a card from the encounter deck, and there's the word pass. So we passed. That's why you want to have as many cards in hand as possible. There are scenarios where you would go 6, 7, 8, 9 cards deep. Very unlikely, but it could happen, and we could cover that with this many cards in hand. All right, we made 11 progress, which means we'll make 7 on the current quest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is 16 progress. We cleared that. Well, in that wrong order. This was discarded. Now the active location is gone. Okay, so we have cleared Journey in the Black Pit. We might win it in 4 rounds. Goodness. All right, continuing eastward. Time carries no weight in the darkness, and the hours creep by with no end in sight. The number of orcs in the mines increase as you head toward the east gate, but there appears to be little real organization within their ranks. You press onward. Winterville, the first player makes a locate test. If this test is failed, reveal cards from the encounter deck equal to the number of players in the game and add them to the staging area, triggering all lost effects. Okay, we make a locate test, and we'll discard this forced snare, and that one doesn't say pass. We'll discard this forced snare. A little bit of lag there. We'll discard this Warden of Healing. There's a word pass, so we pass the locate test. It says on this card that if the player's quest unsuccessfully, like last round, trigger all lost effects in play. But unlike the first stage, this is not boosting locations. Okay, Gandalf comes back to hand, and we'll exhaust Hinnemarth to look at what's coming next. It is a card that we can cancel potentially, or each player must exhaust 1 character he controls. Then, if any player controls no unexhausted characters, fatigue gains surge. All right, refresh next round. I don't think we can quite win this round. Let me think. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. Yeah, we actually can win this round. Let's do it. I've never won it in 4 rounds. Let's go ahead and spend 2 resources from Berovor's pool to put this Erebor Hammersmith into play. And then we will put these 2 Wardens of Healing into play. And now at the beginning of the combat phase, we want to hang on to a resource in Eowyn's pool so that we can play Test of Will. We're going to sneak attack Gandalf in. And we will draw 3 cards. And we're going to quest and win the game here. We're questing with everybody. And that's 17 progress. We reveal Fatigue. When revealed, each player must exhaust 1 character he controls. If able, then if any player controls no exhausted characters, Fatigue gains Surge. We'll cancel that with Test of Will. And then, so that's staging. And that was a response. Now we have options before the quest resolution. Let's play all 3 of these Elrond's councils, lowering our threat by 9. So we're down to 22. And we boosted Eowyn for 3. And we put 20 progress on continuing eastward. Well, there you go. That is a win because it says if the players defeat this stage, they have won the game. So something we never saw anything, you might wonder, like, what would you do if enemies came out? I think initially you saw how we brought Hinnemarth into play and even Erebor Hammersmith. There's a lot of 2-cost allies, even Glaewine, that we can draw into no big deal. So we can chump if we need to. Let me just show you the enemies because they're really not that bad if we keep our threat low. The worst of them, like, so Cave Spider, Bilbo can defend against that, especially if he has a Burning Brand. That's a key. We also have some Hasty Strokes. We want to cancel any shadow effects. But Arwen and Dunedain Warning can boost his defense, and then we use Fast Hitch to keep him ready. A great Cave Troll if it's ever added to the staging area. We're not going to engage it because our threat's going to stay way lower than 38. These guys are kind of pesky, the Goblin Sneaks, but we can deal with them usually. And yeah, there's nothing, I guess Goblin Follower could be a little bit of an issue, but again, we're always going to generally have Bilbo at 3 defense with Hasty Strokes in hand or Burning Brand, and then the Fast Hitches. So usually it does take me 6 rounds, 6, 7, or 8 rounds because I'm spending resources to be a little more defensive. I was able to just really put out a lot of willpower and not worry. And sometimes, you know, if you chump with Hinnemarth, we don't know what's coming, so we play a little more cautiously. But there you go. That was a win in 4 rounds. Pretty cool to see. I didn't know that I could do that. Well, that's the quest. I hope you enjoyed it, as short as it was. And I hope you'll join me as we continue into the final 2 and amazing adventure packs from the end of the Dwarf Delph cycle. So Foundations of Stone and Shadow and Flame. So I would say Foundations of Stone I think that's the best quest by far in the game so far, and it's one of the best quests to this day. An amazing quest. Looking forward to running through that one with you when we come back next time. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.